The unprecedented move comes as the main ruling party, the RCD, was suspended from all political activity. Nazneen Mashiri reports.
Democracy Tunisian style. Protesters try to stop politicians entering parliament. They're activists and lawyers who suffered under Ben Ali. And now they want this institution dissolved and the old faces of the regime out.
These nominated member of parliament are part of this regime, and we do not like them, and we do not accept them.
And inside Tunisia's parliament, scenes this country could only have dreamt of. Opposition politicians vent their anger at the RCD. The former ruling party was suspended on Sunday, but their members of parliament have retained their seats for now at least. And there were more big changes. An emergency vote was passed which gives extra powers to the interim president. So crucially, an election date can now be decided. Tunisia's Prime Minister told me it's an important step.
We will be able to fulfill our responsibilities, engage in a democratic path, and ensure human rights and fundamental liberties, as well as move our country forward.
What the Prime Minister, Mohamed Ghannouchi, is trying to do is unite Parliament and also the country behind this interim government. He says it's the only way not only to solve the economic situation, but also to bring back security to the streets. There's still frustration here. These protesters blame the police for the deaths of 3 demonstrators in the past few days. Weeks on from the Jasmine Revolution that brought about a dictator's downfall, violence and tension still remain. Nazneen Mashiri, Al Jazeera, Tunis.
The WikiLeaks founder, Julian Assange, is facing the second day of an extradition hearing in the UK. He's wanted for questioning in Sweden over accusations of sexual assault. His defense lawyer says he could face the death penalty if he's sent to the US on separate charges relating to the whistleblowing website. Now, residents of the English town of Northampton can sleep safer tonight after one of their own fought back against a group of attackers. Now, watch this. When a gang armed with sledgehammers tried to rob this jewellery shop, help was close at hand in the unlikely form of a grandmother. Armed with nothing more than a handbag, she confronted the men and forced some of them to flee. 4 of the 6 men have now been arrested, and the 70-plus super grand has been hailed a handbag hero. This is Al Jazeera. These are the stories making headlines here. Protesters in Egypt have called for another mass demonstration on Tuesday. The new rallying cry comes as a leading activist was released from custody, while Ghonim was behind the Facebook page credited with setting off the uprising.
First of all, I send my condolences to all the people who were killed. It was a peaceful revolution. We didn't want to do any damage. Don't focus your cameras on me. I'm not a hero. The real heroes are the youth who are behind this revolution. By God's will, we're going to clean this country of this rubbish.
Well, trying to stem the tide of dissent, President Mubarak and his new cabinet have offered some concessions. They've announced a 15% pay increase for public sector workers and pensioners. A Chechen separatist leader says he ordered the suicide bombing that killed 36 people at Moscow's main airport last month. In a video posted on an Islamist website, Doku Umarov described the attack as a special operation directed against Russians and their prime minister. He warned there could be more attacks in pursuit of an independent Muslim state. Southern Sudan has voted overwhelmingly to break away from the north. Election officials have confirmed 99% of voters backed secession. Africa's newest nation will be officially confirmed in July. Officials from North and South Korea have come together for the first dialogue between the two countries since September. The meeting will lay the groundwork for higher-level talks, possibly between ministers. The party of Myanmar pro-democracy leader Aung San Suu Kyi is calling for talks with Western governments to discuss sanctions on the country. The NLD wants existing restrictions to remain, but some experts say this could further divide the opposition movement and harm foreign investors. The Cambodian government says heavy shelling by the Thai army has caused part of an 11th century temple to collapse. Fighting over the past 4 days has forced thousands of Thai villagers to flee the disputed border region. Hundreds of Cambodians have also been evacuated. Both countries lay claim to the area. 3 teenage boys have been shot dead in an apparent gang attack in Mexico's border city of Ciudad Juarez. At least 60 bullet casings were found at the scene. The boys' families say it was a case of mistaken identity. Ciudad Juarez has become one of the most dangerous cities in the world as drug cartels wage turf wars. Well, those were the headlines. The news continues here on Al Jazeera after the Blue Line dispute.
South Lebanon, a region that is one of the most volatile front lines of the Arab-Israeli conflict. A place where international borders are poorly defined and disputed. An area called the Sheba Farms highlights the disagreement over borders and the danger of violence. The Sheba Farms is a sliver of land between Lebanon and Syria. The area was captured by Israel in 1967, along with the Golan Heights from Syria. To this day, the Israelis remain there. Lebanon says it owns the Sheba Farms. Syria agrees. But the United Nations has ruled that the area belongs to Syria. And Israel says it will only withdraw from the area via negotiations with Syria. Beside the Sheba Farms is the small town of Kfar Shuba in South Lebanon. We arranged a tour of the area with a local Lebanese MP as well as the town's mayor. Israeli military positions on the Sheba Farms hilltops overlook the town of Kfar Shuba. The Sheba Farms became a hot political issue in the months preceding Israel's withdrawal from South Lebanon in May 2000. Lebanon demanded Israel pull out of the area, along with the rest of South Lebanon. Israeli troops remained on the hilltops. We drove to the last Lebanese military outpost bordering the Sheba Farms hills. A contingent of Indian troops, part of the United Nations peacekeeping force in the region, mans an observation post here. In July 2009, Israeli troops erected a new sand barricade and an observation post in the no man's land between Lebanon and the Sheba Farms. Angry residents of Kfar Shuba responded by climbing the barricade and hoisting the Lebanese flag and the flag of the Lebanese Hezbollah party. Israeli tanks quickly arrived on the scene. UN peacekeepers and the Lebanese army went on high alert. Such incidents have the potential to spark hostilities. In this instance, cooler heads prevailed and calm was restored. The Indian peacekeepers from the UN force in Lebanon, known as UNIFIL, patrol the no man's land. UNIFIL troops do not have the right to open the Lebanese border gate, so a member of the town's municipality obliges, allowing us to enter the no man's land and to the very edge of what is called the Blue Line. The Blue Line was demarcated by the United Nations in 2000 to verify Israel's withdrawal from South Lebanon of that year. Drawing the line, the UN placed the Sheba Farms outside of Lebanon and within the Syrian Golan Heights, currently occupied by Israel. The UN troops deploy to ensure we don't cross the Blue Line, which, in parts, is no more than a painted rock or elsewhere a painted barrel. Local MP Qasim Hashim is scornful of the line drawn by the UN. He typifies the Lebanese official position that the Sheba Farms belong to Lebanon.
We don't recognize red or blue lines. We declare that the enemy is positioned on Lebanese land, owned by the sons of this region. All of Kfar Shuba town and the whole of Sheba Farms is Lebanese territory. We demand the departure of the occupation forces because everything happening today is caused by the occupation.
In the presence of our camera, one local pushes across the UN's blue line to demonstrate his claim to the land.